Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Viewhouse Centennial for a very special Victory Monday. A Victory Monday that means the AFC Championship is on tap. And who else but our favorite Marvin Mims Jr. sitting down with us tonight. Thanks for joining us, Marv.
Thanks for having me.
Crazy game. Let's talk about the highs first. You win, you punch your ticket to the AFC Championship. Were the emotions around that win different than other wins this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, it's a weird feeling. I was thinking about it earlier in the day. Like, if we lose, like, it's over with. Like, this team, you know, this feeling, all this stuff, how close we are, like, it's all over. So just to win and just know you have another week to play football, another week to keep going, you know, it was a huge, huge thing.
Does that add to it, like, during the game, knowing it's now or never?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like, especially, you know, offensively around that overtime drive, and it's like, dude, we got to go now, or, you know, we're not promised another game. And it's one of the weird feelings, but at the end of the day, it helped push us.
Yeah. At the same time, you've won a lot of crazy games, crazy overtime games this year. In the moment, I mean, how confident, how calm were you guys?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a weird thing. Like, when we get to the end of games, I think we're really confident. You know, we won games in so many different ways this year, in overtime and 33 points in the fourth quarter, stuff like that. So it's just, when it gets to that time, you know, we have a lot of, you know, just faith in each other, you know, all three phases. And, you know, we just always find ways to pull it out.
And then, of course, after the game, it was like the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. We're all like, is this fake news? Sean Payton comes out, tells us Bo Nix is out for the season. Just your reaction when you find out.
Yeah, tough news. You know, you never want to hear guys out for the season, especially Bo. I mean, just him being our quarterback this whole year, him playing his tail off the entire year, him putting his body on the line as he did, you know, the whole season, and just his leadership, you know, having him. And it's just crazy. It's something you never really think about until it happens. And, you know, just to have him out is, you know, a huge, huge thing for this team. But at the end of the day, you know, Stiddy's been there the whole time. He's been here since I've been here, so just my relationship with him has been huge, and I know he's ready to go out there and prove it. I mean, he's one heck of a quarterback. You see it in preseason, you see it in practice every day, and I'm just excited for him to get his opportunity to go out there and play football.
Yeah, we know how loved Stiddy is in that locker room for sure. What does he bring that makes him really dynamic?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, you know, it's different because it's confidence. It's a lot of confidence, and him and Bo are just two completely different people, but still, like, express kind of their confidence in the same way, and it's kind of cool how they go about it. But I mean, Stiddy, just the way, I mean, he's a vet, you know, and you can tell by the way he calls plays, the way he approaches the game, all that different stuff, his reads, all that. So it should be a fun game. I mean, I'm excited for him to get this opportunity. You know, being a backup is tough, and, you know, him not getting any play for a while, and so just for him to be able to go out there and just show what he's got, I mean, it's a huge opportunity for him.
I mean, no matter who the quarterback is, everybody throws it a little different. Is there anything that changes for you with a new QB?
Yeah, I guess you can say, like, the throw, all that stuff, and just, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of a short way to put it. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're running the same offense. We have the same plays. I mean, Stiddy's rotating in there in practice, and we're catching balls from Stiddy, all that different type of stuff. So, you know, it's kind of like, I mean, if you have to get thrown in the middle of the game, you know, you just kind of get used to it, and you just got to go play out there, play ball, and just do our jobs.
Have you talked to him? Like, well, what's the messaging around Stiddy right now?
Yeah, I kind of talked to him literally right after I found out in the tunnel after the game. And he just said he's ready to go, you know, and that's who Stiddy is. I mean, he's ready for the moment. He's always excited for the moment. He's ready to, I mean, dude, he's been waiting for this for a while, you know, just to be able to go out there and play football again. And, you know, I'm excited for him, and I think he's really ready to go out there and just prove what he's worth.
It's awesome. There's a chance JK comes back. They've opened the window. What would it mean to have him back if he's able to play on Sunday?
Yeah, that'd be huge. I mean, you look at a guy at the beginning of this season, throughout the mid of the season, that was a huge focal point for us on offensively. And just to have him back, his energy, you know, how he is in the locker room, all that stuff, and just to have that back on the field, you know, it'd be a huge thing for this team.
Mike McGlinchey also kind of talked about his energy. Can you, like, describe that a little bit?
Yeah, I think JK is one of those guys, I mean, you talk to for 10 minutes and you feel like you know him your whole life. And, you know, you talk to him and he can relate to everybody in the locker room. He's funny. He makes a lot of jokes and stuff. So just to have that back and know that he's, I mean, he has a lot to prove. You know, he'll tell it himself, and just for him to come back hungry, especially in the AFC Championship, that'll be huge for us.
Oh, I love it. All right, Marv, we're so happy to have you here tonight. On the heels of the AFC Championship game coming up on Sunday, we got more coming up here on Xfinity Monday Live. Welcome back into the Viewhouse Centennial for another great edition of Xfinity Monday Live. One of our absolute favorites, Marvin Mims Jr. in the house. We got to talk about that touchdown you scored towards the end of the game, because Sean Payton yesterday was talking about how, like, this play has been made for you for a long time. But we got to go back. He said it's first off because you beat PS2 in practice. Like, humble Marv. Can we talk about this? You beat the best quarter of the game.
It's funny because they had that one, and then we watched one for my rookie camp.
Okay.
So Ben DiNucci's back there at quarterback and throws me like a 50-yard touchdown. And then the one in practice was just against Pat, and it was a 60-yarder. But it's like weird because like both of those looks were completely different looks than we got in the game.
Okay.
So like right when I motion over, I'm like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be like the same or not. And ends up working. Bo ends up throwing a perfect pass to the outside, and ends up being a huge play for us.
It was absolutely fantastic. When that moment happens, like you knew. I know Sean said like this one's going to you, but did you really feel? I feel like so many things happen in the game. Did you know like this one's mine?
Oh, for sure. I think like especially the way he does plays. And it's weird. That game was weird because it's like it's just me, LJ, and Court out there for like almost the entire game. Yeah. And just knowing when he called that play, like, okay, like it's go time. Like this is the end zone shot. This is the touchdown shot, especially with I think we had like a minute left in the game. Yeah. So yeah, that was a huge call. How often do you let PS2 know that you've cooked him before? Yeah, I didn't say a word to him about it, to be honest. I just kind of went on with my day, didn't say anything, but I might have to start doing it. I mean, I feel like so. Marvin, it was so great seeing you get so much action in that game. We're always all hollering for more Marvin Mims all the time. But what did it mean to be such a big piece of such a big game? Yeah, I mean, you said it was huge. It's a divisional round of the playoffs, and something you never really think about. But when the opportunity comes, you just got to seize the moment and take the most of it. And I feel like, in an NFL game, especially with the way we kind of rotate offensively, and having me, LJ, and Court out there, we're all just saying, like, dude, this is crazy. I've never thought in my life, like, in Sean Payton's offense, we'll just be the only 3 receivers out there able to go play. And, it was a lot of communication, a lot of different stuff, but at the end of the day, we just believed in each other, both believed in us, and I feel like we got really comfortable out there and just were able to put up a bunch, of big plays. Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. On the other side, let's talk about J-Mac's pick. Obviously, there was a lot of Bills fans that's like, no, that's not a pick. But, I mean, this was incredible. Did you think it was a pick when it happened? No, so when the play's going on, I'm sitting on the bench, and I'm just looking at the big screen. So I'm not even looking at the field, and all I see is Josh Allen just drop back and launch one deep, and I'm like, oh, please. And, you never see the ball hit the ground. So in my head, I'm like, oh, he caught it. And then J-Mac gets up and puts the ball up, and I just thought it was the craziest thing ever. It was insane. That's making a play on the ball. Let's talk about the Patriots. On defense, it feels like this is a team that, it doesn't necessarily have these huge, massive names like a Nick Bonito or Zach Allen, et cetera, but they come and they play and they make big plays every week. What do you know? What have you seen so far from this Pats defense? Yeah, I think especially just watching them on TV, just the energy they play with, they really float to the ball too. So it'll be a tough matchup for us, but we're ready to step up to the challenge. They have a lot of really good players up there, and they really mesh well. They protect each other, all that different type of stuff. And I just talk about them, but their special teams also. They have really good special teams players, and that's one of those organizations that take pride in special teams. One of those things like that, kind of like us. And it's going to be a good game all 3 phases. It's going to be a tough one. It's not going to be easy by any means, but at the end of the day, we'll just have to keep believing in each other, put our best foot forward, and, pull it out at the end. Yeah, it's going to be one hell of a special teams battle, that's for sure. All right, we got Marvin Mims here with us tonight on Xfinity Monday Live, but we got to take a break, get caught up on today's news and weather. All right, Michael, thank you so much. Time now for the People Want to Know. People Want to Know brought to you by Common Spirit, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos and champions for the communities we serve. Tara wants to know, what was your favorite game this season? Oh. Favorite game? I'd probably say the Giants game. Okay, yeah. Just like off the dome, not even thinking about it. Yeah. Because, like that last quarter, it was electric and it was loud. And just like us scoring so many points in the fourth quarter, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. That one was unforgettable. Just an all-timer. Yeah. What would it be like, you think, to be an opposing offense here? I think it'd be miserable. Because we're talking to little Jordan Humphrey. He was with the Giants. Oh, yeah. And just thinking about, because he told us, like, hey, like, there's points in the game, like, we couldn't even hear Jackson, like, in the huddle. Crazy. Like, we have no idea what he's saying. He's, like, right there. And that made me think about, like, away games we've been to, and there's never been a point where it's like, I can't hear, Russ, or I can't hear Bo in the huddle. Yeah. So it's just, that's insane. One of the loudest. It was awesome. All right, that was the People Want to Know. Brought to you by Common Spirit. We got to take a break. We got more Broncos talk coming up on the other side. Stick around. We'll be right back. We got Marvin Mims Jr. in the house. And Marv, you go back 3 years ago. There's that 70-20 game to the Dolphins. And now you are, 3 years later, on the doorstep of the AFC Championship. Can you just reflect on that day to now? Yeah. It's crazy because, like, that game was like my 3rd game. Wow. And so I'm sitting there like, are we like this bad? like what's going on? So I had no idea what was going on. And then, we hit that off season. And then we trade Russ, or we release Russ, release Justin Simmons, trade Jerry Jeudy. So it's like all the guys that are like my vets, like that I talk to all the time, are just like gone. And we bring in all these other guys, and like as a young guy, you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? But I mean, just Sean Payton, his culture, who he's brought in, who he's kept here this whole time. It's just crazy how it all works out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just being in the divisional round and winning, especially in the way we did against the Bills, who's like a known like playoff, like a competitor. Like they're there. They have Josh Allen. They're there every year. They want to break through, and just knocking them off, and now being in the AFC Championship, it's a crazy feeling.
It's unbelievable. It's so interesting to hear you reflect like on those names too, and the turnover and how quickly this league just moves. And a lot of guys have said, this team will only, this might be the last 1 or 2 times you guys play together. So hopefully two. All right, Marv, it's been such a treat. It always is. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good luck on Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you for
go.
having me.
Get another dub. Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with Marvin Mims Jr. And Marv, you just got your first playoff win. How'd that feel?
Felt great.
Yeah.
It was a crazy game, and it's a crazy game in the first place, but when you add on like playoff win, that's another huge thing to it. But just thinking about the emotions after that game, it's just a crazy feeling.
And the emotions you think about on the other side, we saw like Josh Allen crying, at the podium, his teammates crying. That finality of it, how much does that, besides the fact that obviously you win a Super Bowl, but the finality of it, if it's over, it's over, how much does that kind of add a layer? Yeah,
I think you see like those veteran guys, like, how they feel about it, how hurt they are about it, and it kind of makes you appreciate it that much more. It makes you realize like how big this game really is. I mean, like people's kind of like legacies are built off the playoffs and stuff like that. So just knowing that we were able to, get that win, along with the first round bye and now being an AFC Championship, it's a great feeling. It's a huge thing.
You're going against the New England Patriots. What do you make kind of the Pats?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good all-around team. Drake May is having an incredible year, and their defense is really stout, really good, hard-hitting, flow to the ball. And they have always had one of the best special teams in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an easy challenge at all, but, I mean, if anyone else, matches up with them, it would be us, and just our belief in each other and what we can do. But we know that we're going to have our hands full this week with the Patriots.
I think it's kind of going to be a really fun matchup because you kind of think all year long, people have doubted the Broncos. People have said the Pats had an easy schedule. Drake May, Bo Nix. Like, everybody's just kind of doubted both of you guys, and now you come head-to-head, the 1 and 2, the last 2 standing. I don't know how validating it is and how much fun that is going to be against another team that's kind of gone through that same stuff.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. You look at teams that have kind of rebuilt and, and got their franchise quarterbacks, and now, like, in the second year, both of them are going to be in the AFC Championship and got their team to the AFC Championship. So it's really cool. Just to, you kind of have a feeling for both, especially for me only being 3 years, versus like Cortland or GB who've been here the entirety of the whole thing. But just knowing like, that first year wasn't great, and then now your second year, you make the playoffs, and now the third year, like, we're in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
So it's like a huge thing, and just knowing that both sides kind of come from the same thing, it's going to be a huge game for everyone, especially from being young on both sides and being older on both sides in different spots. It's just a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. One thing about this team is you guys are so close. And I know everybody thinks, teams are all going to be close, but that's not necessarily the case. What makes this locker room just so close? You guys seem to always play for each other no matter what.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is our training camp. We're up there for about 12 hours a day, and we're just learning from each other, getting to know each other. And you bring a guy in like Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, and it's like, I've never met these guys in my life, but they really put in the effort to get to know their teammates and get to know the ins and outs of everyone. And I think that brings a huge confidence to this team, just in each other, and just knowing this dude's doing this in training camp and they're going to be the #1 defense in the league. It's like, why couldn't we go do it, in an actual game? And then you go from there, and we lose the game in Indy, we lose the game in LA, and like backs are against the wall. It's like, hey, who are we going to be? And then we go on this, 11, 12 game win streak?
Yeah.
And we're winning games like the Giants game, like the Jets game in London. And it's different stuff that's just proved to us like why we should trust each other more and more.
You mentioned Garrett and Court earlier, and it's like, man, they've been through the stink times. What's it like for you to see them get these playoff wins, their first playoff wins, and Garrett's been in the league, same with Court, for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's really deserving for both of them, and not just because of the players they are, but because of the people they are too, and how much they truly love, the city of Denver. And I mean, GB and Court, if you need anything, they'll take care of you, no matter what it is, or they'll find someone who can. But just from their leadership, especially being in a room with Cortland and just knowing the type of guy he is, always having us over to his house, his place, inviting us in his space, and just how selfless he is, on the field. I mean, he didn't have a catch till the fourth quarter, and I had no idea. It's just me, him, and LJ, and he didn't have a catch till the fourth quarter, but you didn't hear a word from him. He just wants to win, and in size like that, you don't take for granted in this league. You have a lot of guys who kind of want their numbers and all types of things, but just them being who they are, it helps a lot with the guys that are new, and especially the younger guys like me. So it's been huge, and I'm excited for them, especially.
One of the stats that came out after the game, like team stats, was one of the kind of the most productive games amongst wide receivers, and it was basically like DT, 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 Marvin Mims, DT. What does it mean to be in that same category and making that impact with DT?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, if we were sitting here weeks ago and you asked me if I thought I was going to have a game like that in the divisional round, I said probably not. But, watching Pat go down really early and then Troy go down a couple plays after that, it's like, we got 3 guys, we got to stay out here. And just being able to help the team out when they needed me the most, not being afraid of the moment and going out there and stepping up whenever, Bo trusts me, Coach Payton trusts me, and everyone else out there trusts me. And it's just a good feeling, just to kind of know that you can be there for your team whenever they need you.
We love seeing Marv have a big day. We hope you're going to have another big one on Sunday. What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, just the energy.
Yeah.
The energy. I mean, kind of like you said, kind of like I said earlier, like that could have been our last game.
Yeah.
So just, taking care of the Patriots, number one, but just also just being where your feet are and just enjoying the moment and being in the AFC Championship. Because can't take it for granted. There's a lot of people, a lot of players in the league that don't get this opportunity.
Yeah, that's going to be special. Marv, you're the absolute best. Thanks for joining us. We can't wait for another big game for you this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.